Welcome, foolish mortals. I'm your host, 1000th Ghost, and today I wanted to talk about the huge reveals this week for Star Wars that came out of the Disney investors meeting. There's like 9 new series, a new movie, all kinds of stuff. It really looks like finally we're going to get some decent Star Wars um, out. Instead of concentrating on making movies, they're going to concentrate on making series, which I think are much better. You can tell a better story. You can tell a longer story. You're not bound up by the 2 hour or more limits that you are at the theaters. Plus, at the moment with COVID and everything, you're never sure actually if you're going to be able to even go to a theater. So they kind of nipped that. Um, the first one is a Mandalorian, of course, got picked up for season 3. It's going to actually come out at about Christmas next year instead of Halloweenish, which will be good because then they can spread that through the holiday season. I think that's mostly because they've got other stuff from the Marvel world. I believe that Captain America and the Falcon is supposed to come out in either August or September, so they don't want to have too many event shows running at the same time. So next up is something called Star Wars: Rangers of the New Republic. This may or may not be a spin-off show from The Mandalorian starring Cara Dern um, as, I don't know, uh, some sort of Old West Ranger going from planet to planet. I wouldn't think they'd set up a system like this with marshals like we had in the Old West, but the New Republic, of course, is just recovering and just setting up stuff. And we've seen from The Mandalorian, the New Republic can be pretty vicious when it comes to instigating rules and laws. So it'd be nice to see maybe a little more about how the inner workings of the Republic works at the moment, um, 5 years after the Battle of Endor. Next is big news, which is the Ahsoka series. That's actually going to run during the Mandalorian timeline, as is the Rangers of the New Republic. And all three of them are supposed to merge in some sort of Defenders-like mega event, which we all know how well that went with the Defenders. But I have a little more faith in Filoni that he can write all those characters showing up together well. Uh, Rosario Dawson is still coming back to play Ahsoka, and if you've seen the title card for it, it does show the gateway to the Force that we saw in Rebels, which means they can possibly change things in the past and the future in Star Wars. It's going to be very interesting to see how they use that. A lot of people would like them to use it to erase the sequel trilogy. I don't want that. The sequel trilogy was what it was. Maybe someday I'll make a video on my thoughts of that. I think, basically, I think they got worse and worse as they went along because they didn't have a plan. That was really what was wrong with it. It wasn't the acting, it wasn't the writing generally, except for the fact that they had no plan of where they were going. Next up is a prequel to Rogue One, which is called Andor. It's Cassian Andor and KS2, I would suppose. It's an event series, much like Ahsoka, so it's only going to be one season at the moment. But it's supposed to be 10 or 13 episodes long, which seems really long for that character. I don't know if we're going to follow him from the end of the Clone Wars on. He was a separatist, we're told. I don't know a lot of EU information about Cassian. I started reading the Rogue One book, and then I kind of got lost. I don't read a lot anymore. It hurts my eyes. But it will be interesting to see the foundations of basically, hopefully, the beginnings of the rebellion. Excuse me. And it could actually overlap with events inside Rebels, because it runs along the same timeline. So it'd be interesting to see if it shows all that and Mon Mothra, and you could have a few guest stars. Even a young Princess Leia could be on the show. But it'll be interesting to see. Vader could make an appearance. It's an interesting show to think about. Next up is Obi-Wan, which everybody's been waiting for years. Initially going to be a movie, now going to be an event series, starring Ewan McGregor, of course. And the big news is Hayden Christensen is coming back to play Vader, which is going to be an interesting thing. I hope they do something like maybe a little, not that they have to do a lot, but a little de-aging on both of them to show some cracks in their relationship from the Clone Wars. We saw some of that as it went along in the Clone Wars, but I think we need a little bit more in order to see how far Anakin fell. There's even a possibility in those flashbacks they could trick Natalie Portman into coming back. Probably not. She seems to be kind of done with Star Wars, but you never know. So it's going to be an interesting series. I don't know if they released a date on that. I didn't see it if they did. Next up is what I'm most looking forward to, which is called The Bad Batch. This is basically a sequel to the Clone Wars television series, following the Bad Batch from season 7 as they go about little missions. From the trailer and stuff, it's hard to tell what's going on. I would assume this is from the first couple episodes. There's a shot of them talking to Marv Tarkin, and seem to be on the Empire side at the beginning. We don't know when this starts. If it starts before, maybe we have a couple episodes that are before Order 66, and then some after. They do seem to be fighting some of the clones, but it'll be interesting to see what they do with this. I would like it to kind of turn into an A-team type thing where you have the Bad Batch who's running from the Empire, but still stop and help people along the way. You know, if you're in trouble and you can find them, maybe you can hire the Bad Batch. So it'd be interesting to see what's going to go on with that. The sizzle trailer for that was really cool. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And, you know, again, in Filoni we trust. Next is a kind of an out there thing for him. It's called Star Wars Visions, which initially was kind of hyped up as a what if series. And I don't know if that's going to still be what it is. At the moment, it seems to be different interpretations and different styles. You know, manga and things like that of Star Wars stories we've already know, or things we didn't know about, maybe following a character that turned a corner on screen, and then we'll follow him instead of following the main characters. It sounds really interesting. It's different art styles, different artists, different writers, so it could be pretty cool. We'll have to wait and see what goes on with that. And then the one that could be the most fun of all, the Lando series. They haven't given a lot of information about that, except that we know that Donald Glover will be back to play Lando. But what I'm really hoping for is Billy D. Williams does some voiceover work for it, or even is just, you know, sitting in a cantina telling a story, kind of like in the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. They use the bumper character of that 90-year-old Indy to kind of get you into the story and then show you the events after. I would really like that. I think it's going to do really well. It'll be interesting to see if this takes place after Solo, or some before Solo, some after Solo. And if Billy D is telling the story, and even if it's not in it, Donald Glover, you can't necessarily trust what Lando tells you. So it may or may not be complete canon, because he could lie to your face about something that happened. It'd be really cool if Hondo would show up in this show too. I'd love to see a live action Hondo. It'd be pretty cool. Next is another series called The Acolyte. This is going to take place before the New Republic. It's basically going to be at the end of the old Jedi. Now I can't think. I keep thinking Old Kingdom, but that doesn't make any sense. Anyway, it takes place with the Jedi trying to find out what's going on with the Sith, and are the Sith rising, and it's supposed to be some sort of like not a murder mystery, but more of a thriller mystery series, which could be really cool. It'll be interesting to focus on the dark side for a change instead of focusing on the light always. Next up is Anthony Daniels reprising his role C-3PO in Star Wars: A Droid Story. This is kind of cool. I think I did actually kind of liked the Droids cartoon back in the day. It just needed better writing and a lot better animation. It seems to be some sort of hybrid show. I don't know if it's all CG or what it is. They said that ILM's got some stuff they wanted to play with, so that's what this show is for. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with. Um, the last Star Wars thing was the next movie, which is going to be in 2023, which is called Rogue Squadron. And this takes place several years, apparently, after the rise of Skywalker. So, who knows what we'll actually get. It would be kind of cool if Poe is running the New Republic. Um, excuse me. Jeez. Anyway, or even Finn. I know they have some issues with how they were treated and how some fans fought back against them. But it really wasn't the actors' fault that the scripts were so bad. They did a great job. I think all of them did a really good job. They just weren't given the tools they needed to succeed in those films. And if you like those films, that's great. That that I like the prequels, and a lot of people don't. So there's always that. So that's coming out in 2023. It'll be cool to see. Maybe they'll bring some of the old Legend stuff in. If it's a couple years after Rise of Skywalker, that means Wedge could still be around as like fleet leader. Who knows what he's going to do, or who all survived that mega battle. Last bit of Lucasfilm they showed was for Willow, which is going to again be another event series coming to Disney Plus. It will star Warwick Davis. They have not said if Val Kilmer or any of the other cast will be back. Val's still battling his throat cancer, so I don't know. Maybe he's retired and is a monk somewhere and has taken a vow of silence. I don't know. They can work around it. He can talk a little bit, but it's pretty bad to hear him. But that was all the Star Wars news from the Disney event. Lots of stuff. There's a ton of Marvel stuff too. And I'll probably do a video on that maybe later. I'll talk to you all later. Hope you have a great day. Like, subscribe, pass on to friends and family. Thanks. Bye.